Hi everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English. This is Karen.
And I'm Matt.
Wait a second, Matt. I just saw your hand. What happened? I see blood. Did you hurt your hand?
It's a pretty cool story, actually. I'm kind of a hero.
You're a hero?
Yeah.
Why are you a hero? Please tell us.
Well, I was outside walking, and it's a hot day today.
Yeah?
And I saw a baby in a car with all the windows closed, and it's getting really hot. So you know what I did?
What did you do?
I punched through the window to save the baby.
You're kidding me. Are you serious? You are a hero, Matt. Wait a second. This story, is it really true? Wait, hold on 1 second. Matt, look at me in the eye and tell me that this story is true. Okay, you're lying. What really happened to your hand? You didn't save any babies, right?
I locked my keys in my car, and, well, I needed to get the keys, so I punched the glass, and it really hurt.
Matt, did you know that you can actually call a locksmith, or maybe you can go to the auto repair shop to get a spare key? You don't have to punch your window in your car.
But I think punching it looked pretty cool, so, I see the action heroes doing it in the movies.
Well, now you have to spend a little more money on fixing the window, don't you?
That's true. And the glass was a lot harder than I thought it would be.
Definitely right. Matt, next time, think twice, okay? But, however, today we are looking at part 1 of the amazing story of glass. And I'm sure it's the kind of glass that we shouldn't punch, right?
Well, probably shouldn't be punching any glass anymore.
Glass is all around us. You'll find it in windows, light bulbs, mirrors, cars, and cell phone screens, among other things. Yet we rarely stop to think about this amazing material. What is glass? And how is it made? By 3500 BC, people were already using crushed quartz to make glass in ancient Egypt, and the science behind glass making hasn't changed all that much since then. The modern glass-making process involves heating tiny crystals of quartz, more commonly known as sand, just like the kind you'd find at the beach, to a very high temperature. Depending on the combination of sand and other materials, such as limestone, different types and colors of glass can be created.
So today we're looking at part 1 of the amazing story of glass, right?
That's right. So that brings us to our first vocabulary word already, which is an adjective, amazing.
Ooh.
Amazing means something that surprises you and makes you say, wow. So it surprises you in a good way. You say, wow, that's amazing. So for example, Peter has an amazing memory, so he rarely forgets things.
So his memory is so amazing that makes people go, wow, right? He never forgets anything. Or you could think that your favorite movie is amazing. Or you are amazing.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome. Okay, let's continue the reading.
Okay, glass is all around us. You'll find it in windows, light bulbs, mirrors, cars, and cell phone screens, among other things. Yet we rarely stop to think about this amazing material. What is glass and how is it made?
I have never thought of that before.
That's true.
But you're right, though. We can see glass in different places, right? And different things that we use every single day.
That's right. I use glass on our cell phones every day. I'm swiping on my glass screen.
And it seems like there are different types of glass too, right?
That's right.
Okay, let's learn more. By 3500 BC, people were already using crushed quartz to make glass in ancient Egypt. And the science behind glass making hasn't changed all that much since then. I didn't know that people started using glass for such a long time.
That's right. I didn't think of it being 3,500 years BC. That's a very long time ago.
Exactly.
You know, they had windows then.
The modern glass-making process involves heating tiny crystals of quartz. So when you say heating tiny crystals of quartz, you're talking about heating something, making it really, really hot, right?
That's right.
More commonly known as sand. So crushed quartz is kind of like sand, right? Just like the kind you would find at the beach. To a very high temperature. Wow, I never knew that's how it's made.
Do you think you could make your own glass at the beach just with some campfire?
I don't think that's possible. And then they said at a very, very high temperature, right?
Oh, okay. So maybe not hot enough. Depending on the combination of sand and other materials such as limestone, different types and colors of glass can be created.
That's right. So, like we said before, everything, that we use in our daily lives, you can see glass in our car, and we can see glass in our home for the windows, or even on our cell phone screen. So there are all different types of glass, even different colors.
That's right. They mentioned colored glass. What are some uses of colored glass that we have?
Maybe like stained glass, like at the church, or
for
right?
making things look pretty, or even for darker, like sunglasses, you need a different color of glass.
Or even like a vase, right?
That's right.
Okay, so combination is our next vocabulary word, and that is a noun. So when you say something is a combination of something, that means it's a mixture of something. You put different things together, right? So in our example sentence, this dish has an unusual combination of flavors, but it's still delicious. So what you're saying is that this dish has all different kind of flavors put together, and that is a combination of flavors. Maybe it's a little bit sweet, a little bit sour, a little bit salty. It's a combination of them all, but it's still delicious.
And it's unusual. I think I like an unusual combination of flavors myself.
That's right. For example, if you have like Indian curry, that's also a great combination of many, many different types of flavors, right?
That's right. Some sweet, some spicy, some sour.
So we learned quite a lot about glass today.
That's right. So what are some other ways you use glass in your daily life?
Well, I don't know. Now come to think of it, other than the windows in the car and windows in your home and cell phone glass, I don't know. Where else can you see?
Well, how about mirrors?
Oh,
I usually look at mirrors to see my appearance before I present here.
That's right. I always look in the mirror. Check in the mirror all the time before we start shooting, right?
That's right.
All right. How about let's take a short break and we'll come back and learn more about glass.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。玻璃无所不在，我们在日常生活中到处都可以看得到玻璃，像是窗户啊、镜子，还有我们手机荧幕。这2天的课程呢，就是要介绍玻璃的形成跟应用。那课文标题写到 The Amazing Story of Glass， 那这边它用到单字 amazing， 就是形容令人称奇的或是惊人的。Matt 老师刚刚他在讲这个滑手机荧幕的时候，他用到一个动词叫做 swipe，S-W-I-P-E， 它可以用来表达手指在荧幕上滑动的那个动作。好，那么课文写到说，早在西元前3500年，古埃及人就已经开始使用碎石英来制造玻璃。那制造玻璃背后的科学啊，从那时起并没有太大的改变。我们现在的玻璃制造过程呢，是需要将那种微小的石英晶体，它更常称作沙子，就像在海滩上面发现的那一种，然后把它加热到非常高温。根据沙子跟其他材料组合，我们就可以制作出不同类型跟颜色的玻璃了。好，单字 combination 它是名词，表示结合或是混合。说到不同颜色的玻璃，老师们有提到 stained glass，stained 是拼作 S-T-A-I-N-E-D， 那么 stained glass 就是彩色玻璃。那这边3个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是插入语的用法。插入语可以是单字、片语、子句等等。那么在句中常常用逗号跟句子隔开，用来补充相关资讯或者是做解释说明。那么插入语和句子的结构无关。如果我们把这个句中的插入语把它移除掉、拿掉的话，也不会影响到原本句子的结构哦。例如 Rita，Unlike most teenagers, spends her free time volunteering at a hospital. Rita 利用闲暇时间到医院当志工，和大多数的青少年不同。这时候我们如果把插入语 unlike most teenagers 把它移除掉，那原本的句子它还会是完整的句子。第二个重点是 involve， 它可以指包含需要，后面要接名词或动名词。例如This job involves a lot of travel. 这份工作需要大量的出差。那么第三个重点是 be known as 加上名词，它是指被称作什么，以什么样的身份闻名。那么 as 后方的名词常常是个身份啊、职业啊、称号等等。举例来说，新竹 is also known as the Windy City. 新竹又被称为风城。好，接着回课文中。
High temperatures are required because sand melts at around 1,760 degrees Celsius. When melted sand cools, it doesn't turn back into sand. It is transformed into a completely different state, something between a liquid and a solid. This molten glass is then poured into molds to make bottles or containers, or it is poured into a molten metal bath where it floats on top to form sheets of glass for windows.Unusual glass containers and art are made by glass blowing, which is the act of shaping glass by blowing air into molten glass.
Welcome back, everyone. So we're still learning about the amazing story of glass, right?
That's right.
And like we said before, we can see glass everywhere.
That's right. And speaking of glass, I just came back from Kaohsiung.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen the Formosa Boulevard MRT station?
No, I haven't been to Kaohsiung in a very, very long time. Say it again. It's Kaohsiung's
Formosa Boulevard MRT station.
Okay, and what about it?
It's beautiful. It has an amazing glass ceiling, and it's one of the largest, or it is the largest, glass art installation in the world.
So far, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, and then is it just one color? Is it different colors? What
It's blues and reds and purples, and the colors are lit up every day, and they have a light show too to accompany it.
That is so awesome. Oh, speaking of which, I've never been to this one before, but I've heard it's really, really cool in Taiwan. There's a place in Chiayi, and it's called High Heel Wedding Church. Have you ever heard of it?
I have heard of it. I haven't been there myself.
And it's so cool because I looked at the picture, so it's actually a church, but it looks like a high heel, and it's all made of glass.
That's right. It looks like
beautiful.
Cinderella's glass slipper.
Exactly, and I think they probably have light shows too. I'm not sure. Wow, so many beautiful places that's made of glass, right?
That's right. A lot of nice glass tourist destinations here.
Definitely. I can't wait to learn more.
Okay. High temperatures are required because sand melts at around 1,760 degrees Celsius.
Wow, so that is very, very, very hot, right? So we were talking about how, it melts at a certain temperature, 1,760 degrees Celsius. That is super, super hot, right?
When melted sand cools, it doesn't turn back into sand.
Really? That's interesting. I didn't know that. Let's learn more. It is transformed into a completely different state. Something between a liquid and a solid. So what does it mean by liquid and solid?
Okay, so a liquid is something like water that flows, whereas a solid is something hard. So for example, water is a liquid, but when we freeze it, it becomes ice, which is a solid.
That's right, and then it has a certain shape to it, right? Our juice is also liquid, or tea and coffee, that's all liquid.
That's all liquids. Things you drink are all liquids, and most foods you eat are solids.
That's right. Okay, that's very interesting.
For example, in general, solids can be turned into liquids by melting.
Okay, let's continue our reading. This molten glass is then poured into molds to make bottles or containers, or it is poured into a molten metal bath where it floats on top to form sheets of glass for windows. Okay, so we know that molten means like it's a state between a liquid and solid, right?
That's right.
So when it still floats and then they want to have a certain shape, they need to pour it into a mold.
That's right. So when the glass is still molten, they can still change the shape and move it. So what they need to do first is pour it. So pour is when a liquid or a molten thing flows from one place to another, usually flowing rapidly. So for example, Margaret poured the coffee down the drain.
And then I can pour you a glass of wine or a glass of juice, right?
That's right. So usually when you want to drink something, you need to pour it into a glass or some other kind of container.
That's right. And our next vocabulary word is container, and that is a noun. A container is just maybe sometimes it's in a box or something that you use to put something inside. It contains that thing. So, for example, the container was filled with candy. Or sometimes maybe you may have leftover food and then you have nowhere to put it. You find a container, put your leftover food in it, and then you put it in the fridge, right?
That's right. And if I want to bring my lunch to work, I need to put it in a container first.
That's right.
That's right. Our next word is a verb. It is float. So to float means when something sits on the surface of a liquid and it does not sink below the liquid. For example, there is a lot of garbage floating in the river.
Which is really sad. But if you put a beach ball in the water, it would definitely float, right?
That's right, a beach ball or maybe a small raft that you can use at the beach.
Ah, you're right. Or even balloons. If you put balloons, it's so light. You put it in the water, of course, it's going to float and it's not going to sink. Okay, let's continue. Unusual glass containers and art are made by glass blowing, which is the act of shaping glass by blowing air into molten glass. I have seen that before. Have you?
Yeah, I've seen it one time at a department store. They had a demonstration.
Okay, tell us about it.
And it's very interesting to watch them put the glass into the fire and they need to spin it.
Make it hot.
Make it hot
right?
enough till it's glowing. It's so hot that the glass glows.
That's right. It's like, kind of like a reddish, orangish color,
That's
right?
right. And at that point, they blow into it while spinning it to make like a glass balloon almost.
Wow. And then you can actually change it into different shapes, right? And they would try to change it maybe like into like a round shape or something like triangular. I don't know.
That's right. While it's still molten, they can still move it somewhat. It's very interesting to see.
I know. It's so fascinating learning about glass, right?
That's right. I can't wait to learn more.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have for today, though, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
好，老师们一开始聊到台湾的大型装置艺术，像是高雄美丽岛捷运站的光之穹顶，还有嘉义的玻璃高跟鞋教堂。那我们补充一下哦 ，installation 这个字 ，installation，installation 可以用来指装置艺术。那这个字它也有安装设置的意思。好，那么课文接着提到说，沙子会在摄氏1760度左右融化。当融化的沙子冷却时，它不会变成沙子，不会变回去，而是被转换成一种完全不同的状态，是介于液体和固体之间。然后接着把这种熔玻璃倒入模具中来制作瓶子或是容器，或者是可以倒入这个熔的金属槽里面，在那边它就会浮在上面来形成窗户用的玻璃片。那如果要制作特别的玻璃容器或者是艺术品，就会用到吹玻璃的技术咯，也就是把那个空气吹入熔玻璃来塑造玻璃的形状。好，我们来看单字 solid 它可以当名词来表达固体，那这时候它就是可数名词，也可以当形容词来形容它是固体的、坚固的。再来看 pour 它表示倾倒、倒出，像我们在讲倒液体的那个倒。再来 container 它是容器，它的动词就是去掉 er 变成 contain， 那就有盛装或者是容纳、包含的意思。再来我们看到 float 这个动词表示漂或者是浮。那说到漂浮在水面 ，Matt 老师提到 raft 这个字 ，raft 可以表达橡皮艇或者是竹筏、木筏的意思。那么以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Glass is all around us. You'll find it in windows, light bulbs, mirrors, cars, and cell phone screens, among other things. Yet we rarely stop to think about this amazing material. What is glass? And how is it made? By 3500 BC, people were already using crushed quartz to make glass in ancient Egypt, and the science behind glass making hasn't changed all that much since then. The modern glass making process involves heating tiny crystals of quartz, more commonly known as sand, just like the kind you'd find at the beach, to a very high temperature. Depending on the combination of sand and other materials, such as limestone, different types and colors of glass can be created. High temperatures are required because sand melts at around 1,760 degrees Celsius. When melted sand cools, it doesn't turn back into sand. It is transformed into a completely different state, something between a liquid and a solid. This molten glass is then poured into molds to make bottles or containers, or it is poured into a molten metal bath where it floats on top to form sheets of glass for windows. Unusual glass containers and art are made by glass blowing, which is the act of shaping glass by blowing air into molten glass.
Founded in 1999, the Botanical Garden includes 8 outdoor exhibition areas, a tropical rainforest conservatory, and a special exhibition hall. The Botanical Garden is free of charge, while the admission to the Tropical Rainforest Conservatory and the Special Exhibition Hall is NT $20. It's highly recommended that visitors take advantage of this chance to experience what it's like to walk through a tropical rainforest. The Amazon River Fish Exhibit in the conservatory showcases the largest freshwater fish of the Amazon River, including the arapaima and other giant fish species. There are feeding shows featuring some of these fish at 3:30 p.m. every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can also see poison dart frogs and piranhas. To gain insight into the plant collections in the Botanical Garden, you can reserve a complimentary guided tour on the website of the National Museum of Natural Science. With the guidance of enthusiastic and professional volunteers, you can rest assured that you will have a satisfactory visit. Visiting the Botanical Garden is always a remarkable leisure experience. During the day, you can take your time exploring the Botanical Garden. At night, you can appreciate the beauty of the gigantic birdwing butterfly sculpture and the Tropical Rainforest Conservatory, accompanied by stunning lights and classical music.
See you next time!